As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there, and welcome to ForceCenter Presents Figure Fights, the show where we ask not what character from Star Wars would win in a fight, but what action figure of that character would win. And soon we'll add to our list of questions, how disturbing will the fight be? Because we've had a severe escalation. Maybe this one will be nice and happy. We'll find out. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
I'm Ken Abstock, still emotionally recovering from actually the last two fights. Actually, the last three fights. They've all had some angles to them emotionally and spiritually, but this is going to be fun.
Yes, I think this will be a calm and peaceful battle, which will be wonderful to celebrate the final appearance for now of our guests. We've been so lucky to have them as guests our last several episodes from Star Wars Explained, Mollie and Alex Damon. Thank you both for joining us.
Hello. I can't help but feel responsible for how weird things have gotten the past few episodes, and I'm fine with it. But
it's good. It's not you; it's the figures.
Ken just said the last three were horrifying, and those are the three that we were on. Coincidence?
Not you. Not you. It's all Puddin' Figures Dark Letter.
Yeah. I think I was in a dark mood when I picked the figures, and it was all Puddin' Fingers and proboscis.
Were you in your Spielberg Lucas Temple of Doom face? Is that?
It really was. I'm going to pull in the classic Indiana Jones figure, German Mechanic, that we were talking about. Just a topless man. Anyway, we are going to get into this. We are going to have a ton of fun. Here we go. We are revealing what the battle is for this episode. Our matchup today is Vintage Snoke versus ATST driver Han Solo.
Oh.
Right.
That took a turn that I was not expecting.
Yep. I picked this action figure partially because I needed to see if in a canon way it would break anyone's mind. This figure does indeed posit that in order to pull off his ruse that the Imperials had won, Han took the time to put on an entire Imperial outfit and not just the helmet.
That photo at the bottom of the package.
He looks like, why did I do this? I didn't mean to do all this.
He looks like he lost a bet.
It really does. That really looks like the moment where Harrison Ford was saying, I wanted them to kill me. I wanted them to kill the character. But now I have a silly hat.
Oh, that's in a great jumpsuit. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So let's talk about our feelings about these figures, our history, if any. We'll start with the vintage collection Snoke. Ken, do you own Snoke? Do you need to own Snoke? Where do you go with Snoke?
I don't own this version of Snoke. I'm looking on my shelving across my studio here. I own one mini Funko Pop type thing of Snoke. That's the only Snoke thing I own. I do like Snoke. I do like his involvement. I want to know more. But yeah, I haven't taken the deep dive on this figure.
Yeah, understandable. And it sounds like you're trying to be charitable to Snoke, but you're not feeling a strong pull.
Look, the throne room scene in The Last Jedi is one of my favorite sequences in Star Wars. You got Andy Serkis. There's never more than 12 Andy Serkises. There's one. And he's here. But and I love the gold robe. We'll get into details. I don't think this captures the glory of Snoke's robe. That's always been my problem with this figure.
Got it. I was sensing something lurking underneath.
Alex, our buddy Mike Black, when this movie came out, he sent me a link. Like, always, hey, this figure came out. And I just remember going, oh yeah, no.
Well, this is why we talk feelings, so we know that there's an this specific figure of Snoke bias from Ken Napzok. How about you, Alex? How do you feel?
I also do not own this figure. I was never really a fan of Snoke. My favorite thing he ever did was get cut in half, and I cheered for that, which I mean was perfect. That was his purpose in the story. So a great moment. Love it. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would buy an action figure of him. I do think we have a couple Funko Pops though, but also no big attraction drive to support this character, but also no drive to really root against him like there was for Danik Jericho.
Okay. This is more mild disinterest than immediate revulsion.
I'm kind of apathetic, yeah.
Okay. Mollie, are you apathetic or do you have strong Snoke feelings?
No strong Snoke feelings here. I think I have one Funko Pop of him that I can see in my office. but I will say I enjoy the deep V of this action figure. It doesn't look quite as deep of a V-neck on the Funko Pop. I think that was a bold choice, and I'm glad that they went with it.
Yeah, this Snoke is trying to it'd be a little bit more inviting, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to know if he has the slippers on.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think we might have a reveal coming up later here. Well, I think we have an asset where we can examine that. So we'll examine that in a moment.
I'm intrigued and scared.
A Snoke surprise. I have this figure. I like Snoke as a character. I'd love to know more. I think he serves his purpose well in the story. But for action figures, I just love the weirdos, and he's such a weirdo. We're like, is the action figure sculpted really, really well to show us he's got a weird, twisty back? Because he looks kind of awkward, like he's just going to really have a hard time walking around. I love the choice of his gold robe. I love that it's so just large and poofy, like he just took a really great shower. So I had to have this Snoke action figure. I picked him up one day at a Target, and I was hungry and needed a snack as well. And I grabbed what I thought was a normal Snickers bar, and I put them both down on the conveyor at Target. And I realized I'd actually grabbed a Snickers bar, put it right next to Snoke, and it was a 2-in-1 Snickers bar that was split down the middle, just like Snoke. And then it looked like it was a cruel joke on Snoke's fate. So I felt guilty about that. We'll see if we make it up. All right, let's now talk about AT-ST driver Han Solo. Mollie, I'll start with you. Do you own this figure? Do you want to?
I don't think we own this figure. I certainly don't have it in my office. But I think this figure is a lot of fun because it feels like one of those figures that Harrison Ford just hates that it exists.
I wish I could zoom in on that photo because it's clearly
the
like
photo's
Photoshop. It's like an old school Photoshop. Like I can't imagine they had Harrison dressed up in that.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine they did a costume reference. It's more like a prop, right? Just like put it on for one shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Amazing. Alex, how are you feeling about this figure?
I just never imagined for a second that he put the whole jumpsuit on. Like, because he would have had to put it on, film that, not show that he was wearing it, and then quickly take it off before all of the Imperials ran out of the bunker. Yeah. So in my mind, it was always just helmet. That's it. And then covering up your face. That's all he needed for the disguise. There is a part of me that kind of likes it just because I have fond memories of eating a lot of General Mills cereal to send away for the Han Solo and Stormtrooper disguise action figure. That was the only way you could get that one. So I do have some nostalgia for Harrison Ford's face on other bodies.
That's true. That does make it special.
But this one, this one seems like a step too far. That you made some logical leaps that I'm like, this makes no sense.
Yeah. That I do not own this one, but I really want to, and that's what I love about it because I think it is this beautiful time in action figures. Like, let's make every variation of Luke and Han and Leia that we possibly can. I love collecting the ones that are just like a specific frozen moment. The Power of the Force 2 had that Han in the middle of coming out of carbonite, and his lips were kind of weird and his eyebrows are up because it was like it's him from that one shot. This is taking that concept of make a figure from every frame of the film to the breaking point. It does not make sense. That I've got an idea. Bring me the pants too, Chewie.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, just like when I was in the academy, these still fit.
Yeah. And then just power stripping so he can run in there with the charges. Yeah.
Leia yelling at him like, there's no time, Han. People are dying.
Hey, it's me. It's me.
Bring me that room-sized mirror. I need to see how it looks. Yeah. Ken, how do you feel about this figure? Does it break you?
No, I don't own it, and I want to because being a Han guy like I am, and I'm with you, Alex. Harrison Ford's face on figures on bodies. Let's do it. This line I don't have a lot of either, but I love this moment. This is one of my favorite moments as a kid. But now you all are putting stuff in my head that's causing me to question the moment logically that I never have. just as a kid was one of my favorite things. Like, oh, he went undercover. Oh, they fell for it. So I love it. So maybe I'll get the figure for the emotions.
Yeah, they would be great. Would you all be happier with a Han Solo in AT-ST driver disguise? That's his normal outfit. He's just got the helmet on.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yes.
yeah. This kind of just because we're living in such an age now where almost everything is like on webcams and everyone's seen from here down.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. He gets extra points for me for putting on the whole outfit, even though he knows it's only from here up.
That's true. This is Han Solo as a content creator going the extra mile.
Yes.
I like the idea of Han Solo on a Zoom call with no pants on and
No
just
pants.
the helmet, and he put the vest on.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's pantsless most of the time on the ball.
That's a thing of beauty. All right, let's look into the details, the stats. We've heard the feelings. Now we'll get the facts. We're going to take a look at Snoke. Snoke is from the Vintage Collection. His scale is 3.75, but maybe a little bit taller himself. Released in 2018. Joint count 16. 1 ball jointed neck, 2 ball jointed shoulders, 2 ball jointed elbows, 2 ball jointed wrists, 1 ball jointed upper body, 2 ball jointed hips, 2 swivel thighs, 2 ball jointed knees, 2 ball jointed ankles. I think the figure can move more than the actual character.
Mhm.
Knees and
Accessory-
ankles. Wow. Okay.
Knees and ankles, right? Yeah. So I mean, you can pose him like he's just like a sprint runner.
Well,
Accessory details: 1 fabric robe, 1 removable belt, 1 collar. I'm going to read the details. Here we go. Here are the details about Snoke. There are no weapons or lightsabers included with the figure. The belt can be unplugged in the front. The robe fits well without feeling overly bulky. The collar plugs into a hole in the figure's back. It helps to keep the fabric robe in place. Supreme Leader Snoke was painted very nicely. In particular, the face stands out with tons of scars and grooves. Snoke has enough articulation so he could sit on a throne properly. This is all from the website galacticfigures.com. And Ken, I think we have another asset revealing the full glory of the robe, do we not?
No, I'll add that in now. So imagine it's now. Yes.
Okay.
It looks great.
So, we pulled an image. It turns out that Snoke can actually open a robe. So you can see that he's got little basically jammies on underneath.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Don't
gotta
we
Google
all?
that.
Aren't we all just wearing jammies underneath everything?
It's Snoke on a Zoom call.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, I see it.
You see open robe Snoke. Excellent.
I like he's got sweatpants that he's kind of rolled up,
Oh,
To
I
half
see it
shin.
now. Oh,
and he
okay.
does have the slippers. Good to know.
Yep. He really looks like he got caught at the privy before there was electricity kind of vibe. He's heading to the
He's got his
outhouse.
long johns on.
He's got his long johns on.
But he pulled him up because he doesn't want the ankles to show. He wants everyone to think that the robe is all he's wearing.
Yep. And
Yep.
gold slippers. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful.
Mm.
All right. We will move on to the stats for AT-ST Han. These also come to us from galacticfigures.com. Han's toy line is the Star Wars Saga series, also scale 3.75, released 2004, joint count 10. Swivel neck, 2 swivel shoulders, 2 swivel elbows, 2 swivel forearms, just 1 swivel waist. 2 swivel waist would be freakish. 2 swivel hips, accessory count 2, blaster, helmet. All right, here are the details. The AT-ST driver helmet fits very well over Han's head, so it must be removable. The blaster is a good fit for the right hand. The left hand has a communicator molded into it, which is not removable. The left elbow has a swivel joint, which lets Han move the communicator right up to his mouth, which is great, says galacticfigures.com.
I like that they add that little which is great.
Which is
Which is
great.
great. They do such a great job of reviewing them, letting you know what you're getting into, and we know so much now. We know that Snoke's robe opens, and we know that that communicator is molded in, so we are ready. Let's figure fight. Ken, I'd like to go first to you. Taking into their account their size, their robes, how do you think this is going to go?
I'm just mesmerized by Snoke's face. He looks pleasant in this photo. He looks like, hey, come on in. I'll tell you some stories.
Yeah.
I think first of all, is Han trying to disguise himself? Just an Imperial officer reporting for duty, giving an update to Snoke, and Snoke will be like, "I work for the First Order now." But there's a connection maybe to the past. So I think Han knows he can't do that. So I think he can't use his charm, and I think Snoke just immediately the figure starts going in on Han verbally, trying to talk about, "You're a scoundrel. You left the Empire. You're a traitor. Who are you? You're nothing." And I think that starts to anger Han, and he gets so angry he tries to throw the communicator and realizes it's stuck to his hand, and they get a second of advantage.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Okay, we start with Snoke's go-to move of emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Mollie, where do we go from there? Do you think Han has a chance against Snoke, or do you think Snoke's going to be a pushover?
I almost see Han as taking in the verbal abuse of Snoke and being like, you know what, you're right, and it doesn't faze me one bit. Like he knows he's a scoundrel. He knows he's a lot of things. So
Yeah.
I don't think it really phases him that much. I do wonder if Snoke would be interested in the vintage outfit that he's wearing, like because Snoke is obviously such a fan of flashy outfits. He might, I don't know, he might be intrigued by this vintage Imperial costume he's got on.
As if it's like, "Oh, are you in a collector's item?" Like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Snoke might get furious when he discovers that Han is not actually canon. That might make him too angry to continue. How do you think this goes, Alex?
I think that Han does try to disguise his face, just do what he did in Return of the Jedi. That's kind of his only move here, is to pretend he's an Imperial. He has to use the communicator. And I think that Han Solo, if anyone could do it, he could. He could just like talk for long enough that he walks himself up to Snoke close enough to try to get a shot off. I mean, it's very similar to what his son does, of get that lightsaber right next to him and then just keep him distracted until you can go for the killing blow. I think Han just needs to get close enough for a sure shot.
I think this is spot on. I think he's also got a little of the technique he uses against Greedo, where he kind of distracts him. You know, he draws Greedo's giant bulbous eyes to picking at the wall, so he doesn't notice the blaster coming out. So I think he's talking to the communicator, hiding his face. That's what Snoke's focusing on. And then he steps right up to him and he tries to blast him. But there's a problem. The blaster looks a little strangely bent.
It does.
Hey, it happens.
It happens.
It's natural. Your blaster can be bent sometimes.
It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal for a blaster to be bent, but it does mean that he misses Snoke entirely. So I think that he tries to take a shot.
Is this a callback to the Greedo Han scene as well?
Yeah.
Like that's why he missed from point blank range.
I think Snoke even says McClunky, but in this.
Oh, that is great. So I think Snoke is on the attack. Ken, how do you think Snoke would go about attacking Han besides just verbally? How would he physically fight?
I absolutely think he knows that this is serious, and I think that the figure would know who Han is. Maybe this when he pick it up on it. I think he takes the robe off. I think he unhooks it from his back or whatever it was.
The collar,
Yeah, and I think he throws the belt at him. There, the belt's in play, right? Removable belt. Brought up.
Removable belt. Yeah, the belt's in play.
Belt. I think he throws that on.
We'll go belt and play. Yeah, you can get into some whipping, some choking. Mollie, do you think Snoke whips or chokes? How does he use his belt?
It looks like the belt would come off, and if he got the robe around him, maybe the belt would just slip right over his head. So that would be more of a choke.
Okay. Yeah.
You're saying the belt goes over Hans? He's choking Hans with the belt?
Maybe he throws the robe over him and then the belt over that.
Oh, so he's got it.
He just dresses Han up like himself.
Yeah.
He's got
on
him double wrapped.
On his head, yeah.
So now this action figure is Han Solo disguised and AT-ST driver disguised as Snoke.
Yeah. Wow.
Because why not?
Why not? Love that.
So what else do you think happens, Alex? What other actual physical attributes, accessories, what can they use to go at one another?
Yeah, I'm going to remove the force from the action figure, but I do want to point out that Snoke does have his onyx or obsidian ring, which can do
Mm.
some damage if he's going to throw some punches. I don't know how hard Snoke can punch. He doesn't look like the strongest guy, but the ring on the finger could hurt a lot.
Point.
He does
Look,
have a ball jointed wrist.
Yeah, he might be like Buzz Aldrin still can pack a punch, right? If you tell him the moon landing wasn't real, he's going to punch you, right? So I think that's what Snoke had, some of that old man angry strength with that ring.
Oh yeah, no, I think he takes a big swing, but I think that ball jointed wrist just bends when it hits the helmet.
Yes.
Yeah, I would love it if also it wasn't actually real obsidian and it just like broke immediately. It's like, oh man, got a knockoff.
Palpatine told me this was obsidian.
Right. That's exactly where I was going. Where it's like, we don't know the story yet. Like, what? Like, everything about me is a lie.
Yeah. This is from Mustafar. Haha, it's glass. I love this. Here's where I think Snoke does have a little bit of an advantage. Not only can he take off most of his clothes and drape them over Han, but he's got long, bendy legs. I think he can go like full wrestler, and I think he can get his leg wrapped around Han's throat, another wrapped between Han's legs. It's just like an octopus of Snoke wrapped around Han. Mollie, do you think Han has any defense against Snoke's octopus legs?
I mean, unless Snoke can use his octopus legs to get the blaster out of his hand, I think Han is smart enough to recalibrate, taking into account the curve of said blaster, and maybe get another shot in.
Yeah. Do you Han shoots twice? Do you think he goes for the gut, or does he go for the slippers? Alex, where does Han shoot his bent shot?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I was immediately thinking of the movie Wanted or the comic where curve the bullet, like curve the blaster bolt. Right. He can do that. That Han, again, if anyone can do it, Han will just assume he could do it, and he will succeed. I think he goes for the dome. It's it's too big, too juicy of a target. Get him.
Now look at that face.
Get him right in the crack down the middle.
Yeah. Yes. You have basically a bullseye.
Yeah, right. He hit right there.
And he just needs one.
They just holds it like this, maybe.
Yep, absolutely. That is an attack of horrible beauty. Ken, any other thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts about how this even happened. But I think Han gets that shot right off. He always finds a way, right? He runs down hallways screaming. He doesn't have a plan. He's going to figure it out. And Snoke, the figure is no different than Snoke the character. He's just so caught up in his own hubris, his own slippers. He doesn't see what's right in front of him.
Yeah. I think, if this was a younger Han, maybe Snoke could have gotten out of trouble by trying to give Han the golden cloak. The Oropile cloak might be worth a lot, but we're dealing with a mature Han, so I don't think even that's going to work. Right. All right. We have talked about a lot of horrible things that Snoke and Han can do to one another. It is now time to vote. So, Mollie, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think wins this figure fight?
I'm going Han on this one. I think he's shifty enough. He can maneuver his way around enough to make his curved blaster work, which I think everyone with a curved blaster can do as well. And Snoke is just, unless he has the Force, like if I'm just thinking of him as this action figure, he looks kind of frail, especially with the robe off. He looks kind of frail and sad, and as gangly as he is, I don't know that he can overcome Han in this fight.
I mean, you're making some really compelling arguments. If we're saying robe off, no Force, this is a cruel battle where a smart, clever person in the prime of their life is attacking an old man on the way to the bathroom.
See, the thing is, Snoke on the package is everything he is in the film: menacing, scary. In the figure form, he does look like I just want to enjoy a nice sunny day in the park, and I'm afraid I'll be really there.
He looks like he walked out of Ruma Clan's bedroom on Golden Girls. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's, yeah. Alex, what are your thoughts, and who do you vote for? We got one vote for Han.
Well, I wanted to ask, I can't recall if you said whether or not Snoke can stand well on his own.
I don't think that.
If it wasn't noted, I'm going to assume he can't even stand.
Right. I think where Galactic Figures would normally note that, they have noted Snoke has enough articulation so he could sit on a throne properly.
He can sit just fine.
Yeah.
So he can sit down and get his ass handed to him by ATST Han Solo.
Yeah, I think Han's in his element when he's in a disguise. And in this one, he even went the extra mile. He put the whole suit on. He's going to trick Snoke. Maybe even better than Kylo Ren tricked him. Curved blaster be damned. He's gonna shoot Snoke, no problem.
Yep. I am in agreement. My vote is going to be for Han as well. We haven't even got to the fact that his helmet is removable. I think if he gets a blaster shot, great. Even if he doesn't get a blaster shot, he can remove that helmet. He can jam that into any of Snoke's many grooves, as they're described by Galactic Figures, and just pry him open like a ripe fruit. That was upsetting. That was very upsetting. I own it. Ken?
I'm just thinking of shriveled grapes being in the fridge for too long. And look, I don't want this. There's that instinct to it shouldn't be a clean sweep. That's not fair to Snoke. But it goes back to my original feelings towards the figure. I do like Snoke. I don't think this figure captured it. I'm not afraid of him. I feel sad. And he's feeble, and maybe that's what Snoke really is. That's the truth. So I go Han and his curve blaster.
There you go. Ken and Han Solo see through and discover Snoke's truth. The clear victor for our battle today is Han Solo ATST driver with full costume. Hooray for Han Solo.
All the way down to the socks. I'm sure he's got Imperial socks on too.
Oh, that's a really good thought. Did they have the Imperial logo even on the socks to remind you at all times? We had another fun, violent fight, but we need to learn something today. So Ken, what do you think the moral of this figure fight is?
The moral is know your true self, because if other people do, they can use it against you as a weapon.
Even when you're dressed up as someone else, know your true self. It's a great one. Alex, what is your moral for today?
Just that your golden robe isn't fooling anyone. You're just wearing pajamas underneath it. We all know. And Han Solo's going to see right through that. He's going to take you down.
A great story. Supreme Leader's golden robes, just like the Emperor's new robes. Mollie, what is your moral?
I mean, despite wearing a disguise, you can still win the fight. You didn't need to be in disguise, but he was. He just happened to be.
He just happened to be in disguise. Han Solo could win in any disguise, right? In any outfit. Yeah, he could just win his dirty shirt from carbon freezing Han Solo. But instead, this Han Solo won. And I'm going to take a moral that all of you put across very well, which is this is full commitment Han Solo. So, hey, if you're going to do something, put on the whole outfit. That's a very good moral. And that is our episode of Figure Fights. Thank you for watching. If you have strong opinions about this low stakes imaginary battle, feel free to put them in the comments and let us know who you think would win and why. Because as Luke Skywalker once said, well, no one was really listening to him. I care. That's it for Figure Fights.
Thanks for watching ForceCenter. To follow us on Twitter, reach out at ForceCenter Pod. We're on Hive Social at ForceCenter. On Instagram, we are at ForceCenter Pod. Our Facebook page is ForceCenter Podcast. The podcast is available in a lot of different spots like Acast, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Just search, you'll find us. Want ForceCenter merch? Go to tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. Want to support us directly? You can at patreon.com/ForceCenter. For social links for the hosts and guests of ForceCenter, check the links in the description below. That's it for now. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.